789
789
311
311
2541.
However, there are firstly and then remove the freeze and skin. Very good, Lisha. That's very neat. Very good. Okay, so let's continue with the class. So in last class, we saw in detail about how the silk is being extracted from the silkworm, which is we saw like one part of the step. We didn't discuss about this part. Okay, right now we're going to see in detail about how the silk is being extracted. Okay, so how they're doing it. So the heading is from cocoon to silk. Now this is the cocoon. So till here we saw that it's laying egg and then it's eating on mulberry leaves and then it's building a cocoon. So this is what we saw. Now we're going to see how from this cocoon we're getting the silk fiber. Okay. Okay. So for obtaining the silk, the moths are first reared. What is the meaning of rearing? What is the meaning of this word?
Ma'am, shaving the hair.
Sorry?
Shaving the hair.
Rearing means shaving. Think again. What about you, Arshit? You're rearing the sheep. You're rearing a child. You're rearing the hen. What is the meaning of reared?
Ma'am, is it feeding him or?
Basically, yeah. So feeding and growing is only rearing. Okay, I already told you that for sheep, no? Feeding and growing. This is just taking care of. If you're rearing a child means or you're growing up a child, you're feeding the child, taking care of the child. You're allowing the child to grow. Okay. So that is the meaning of rearing. So first the moth is reared. That's the first thing. When only if the moth is reared, the cocoon can be made, right? So for obtaining the silk, moths are reared, and then what happens? These moths will build the cocoon in what? In H shape. I told you that already. So they'll build the cocoon, and from this cocoon, these are nothing but silk threads. From the cocoon, silk threads are obtained. Okay, now we're going to see the first part. How they are reared. So, rearing of silkworm is the first thing you're going to see now. So, first, what you will do for laying eggs, you need male or female. For laying
What?
eggs, you sorry.
Can you repeat the question, ma'am?
For laying eggs, you need male moth or female moth?
Female moth.
Female moth. So, female silk moth is first obtained. So, female. This female silk moth will lay around hundreds of eggs. Okay. Okay, so at one time, okay, like what do we say? At one time, do we humans give birth to hundreds of babies? No. At one time, we give birth to only one baby, right? And after maybe a few months, you'll give birth to another baby. So at here, so at one time itself, it will lay 100 eggs. Okay. Okay, so what will happen? These eggs, no, they are They are stored. They are stored on what? Strips of cloth or the strips of paper. Okay. And then they are sold to the silkworm farmers. Stored where? Strips of cloth or paper, and then they are sold to the silkworm farmers. So then it goes to the farmers. So what these farmers will do, the farmers will keep the egg in certain condition. Okay, these strips are again stored by the farmers in hygienic conditions, in clean conditions, not in dirty places. Okay, and under suitable conditions. So this hygienic conditions means what and all it should be there. It should be clean. It should have the appropriate temperature, because a certain amount of temperature you should keep. You know, the eggs, you know, they should be warm, right? For hens and all, the eggs are like made warm by making the hen sit on the egg, right? So here it's similarly that the room temperature, the place temperature, and the humidity all is set for the eggs to hatch healthily. Okay, so the eggs are warmed under suitable temperature. What will happen after that? The larva will hatch from the egg. This is done when the mulberry trees will bear a fresh crop of leaves. So what will happen? So for example, this is a room. Okay, so this is room 1, this is room 2. In this room, they will have all the strips of paper with in certain temperature with hundreds of eggs with certain degree Celsius and humidity. Okay. Similarly, in the other room, what will happen? Mulberry leaves are grown. So exactly when they are babies, even the mulberry leaves will be a shoot. Shoot means what? The baby of the starting stage of the leaves, right? So they'll also be babies. They're not full grown up. Okay. So when this is a baby, this is also a baby. So they will grow it simultaneously. Okay. So that like exactly when they hatch, the mulberry also will be ready to be eaten by it. Okay, so they will bear fresh crop of leaves. Then the larva is hatched. Okay, this larva is called as the, already told you yesterday, day before yesterday, caterpillar or what?
Silkworm.
Silkworm. All right. So once the temperature, like accordingly, the temperature, both the larva and the mulberry leaves have been grown well enough, the caterpillars will eat day and night. They will eat the leaves. Okay, they will start eating it. Both day. Once they eat, what will happen? They will grow bigger in size. All right. They'll enormously they'll increase in size. Now the larva, what will happen? They will be kept in clean bamboo trays. Now these larvas are now shifted. Where are they shifted? They shifted to trays. Okay, these trays are made up of bamboo. You know what is bamboo, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I shifted to bamboo trays. The bamboo trays will have so many caterpillars or so many silkworms. So they are stored there. They are kept in the trays. Along with the trays, you will have freshly chopped mulberry leaves. For the larva to feed on. All right. So after this process, this whole thing, they will be stored for around 25 to 30 days. Okay. And after 25, there's only certain amount to your tummy also can fill. No, if I give you 10 burgers, you will feel very hungry. You'll be like, yeah, I want to have burgers, but you won't be able to eat more than two. So your stomach will be full. So similarly, they will be full. They won't be able to eat more than that. So the caterpillars will stop eating and they will move to a tiny chamber of bamboo in the tray to spin cocoons. Now this you can see over here. Look at the tray carefully. You can see there is this portion, first part, and underneath I've drawn another part. Can you see? So all these trays have a second portion. So after these larvae, they eat all the leaves. They will go down to another section of the bamboo tree. This is the first section. This is the second section. So these larvae will move to the second section of the bamboo tree and they will spin the cocoon. So many cocoons will be there. Cocoons are spun. Okay, so small racks or twigs will all be provided to the tray which the cocoon will be attached to. Okay, so the caterpillar or the silkworm, they will spin the cocoon inside, which will develop the, so inside the cocoon will be the caterpillar or silkworm, right? So the caterpillar or the silkworm will spin the cocoon inside, which develops the silk moth. Okay, so this is the whole process of how the rearing alone, the rearing of the silkworm is done. Okay, note it down. 1 minute. Yeah, note it down. Tell me when you're done. Any doubts so far? You can also ask that.
Completed.
Lishita, are you done? Or you want some time?
Ma'am, not done.
Okay. Tell me when you're done.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Do you guys have any doubt? Was it understandable?
Yes, ma'am. No doubt.
Okay, fine. So we just saw like one part of the silk wearing process. So we saw till where we saw this last class. We saw how this process and all is done. Now we saw this part in detail. Now we're going to see this part in detail. So that is how the silk is processed. Processing of silk. So what you can do is you have this tray. This tray is full of cocoons underneath, right? Because this is where the cocoons are like built. Because on top there are full of mulberry leaves. Now these cocoons are piled up, okay? So these pile of cocoons are used for obtaining silk fibers. Okay, so how do you obtain that? 1 minute first. Hello. Yes. Yeah, who is this? Hello. Okay. So these piles of cocoons are used for obtaining the silk fiber. So what happened? These cocoons are kept under the sun. Okay, so these piles of cocoon they're kept under the sun for radiating heat. Okay, they kept under the sun for high heat temperature. Okay. Sorry guys, my current went off. Okay. So what happens is we saw what will happen with the cocoons. So all these bunch or pile of cocoons that is being there, they are kept under the sun. Okay. This is one step. Either this is one of the ways. Okay. They'll either keep it under the sun or this is the second step which we already spoke about in our first class. They will boil the cocoons. All the cocoons are boiled in high temperature. Can any of you tell me why they are boiling it or why they're keeping it under the sun?
Ma'am, to kill the larva which is growing inside.
To kill the
Ma'am, silkworm or the caterpillar going inside.
basically to kill the pupa. Okay, so the one that's inside now is pupa. Okay, so silk fibers, once they are boiled or exposed, they'll do either this or there's another way. என்னாச்சு பேக்கா பிஸ்கட் இருக்கா வெரி பிஸ்கட் இருக்கா okay so these cocoons they are boiled, they are either exposed to steam. They're exposed to steam. Okay, now tell me, if you pour hot water in your hand will be boiled. Okay, you can either any of you answer the question. If you pour hot water in your hand will be boiled, or if you show your hand to steam, your hand will be boiled.
If we pour hot water, ma'am.
Okay, so Arshit is saying hot water. What about you, Lashita?
I'm pouring hot water.
Okay, but it's not hot water. This was what you will learn in next grade probably. Okay, so it is only steam that is more powerful than hot water. Class எடுத்துட்டு இருக்கேன் mummy. Okay, so 5 minutes wait பண்ணு. Okay, so you என்னன்னா வந்துட்டு if you like show your hand you to steam, hot steam, your hand will burn more than hot water. This is because there is a system called as vaporization. Okay, now see, the more the vaporization power is there, the more burn it will create. Now if you just take steam and you let the hot steam go, it will be evaporated fast. Or will hot water evaporate fast? You know what is the meaning of evaporation, right? Do you know what is evaporation?
Yes, ma'am.
Now tell me, will hot steam evaporate fast or hot water evaporate fast?
Steam.
Steam, because it's already in a vapor form, right? It's already in a gas form. So the more evaporation faster it occurs, the more burn it will create. So steam is more effective than that of hot water. Okay, so that is why these three methods are used. Okay, any of these three methods are used. Either they're kept in the sun, they're either boiled, or they are kept under hot steam. So after this process, the silk fiber is separated. The process, basically the silk fibers, all the threads you will get. Silk fibers are separated. So the process of taking the threads from the cocoon for use of silk. So basically from the cocoon, you're taking the silk fiber, right? This process is called as the reeling the silk. Okay, so reeling is done by using special machines. All this, what they will do, they will unwind all the threads and fiber of the silk from the cocoon. The silk fibers are then what they're done, they are like spun into silk threads, which are woven into silk. Now these are spun into silk threads. It is then spun into silk. This is how the whole processing of silk is done. Okay, note it down. These are your homework questions. Supposed to explain the reeling of silk and you have to name different types of silk. Just note it down. I'll be back in 5 minutes, guys. Context.
Completed. Completed, ma'am.
Are you guys done? Did you guys note it down?
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Okay, Lajita, you done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So now we'll see a short video on how silk layering is done.
Which is the capital of Uttar Pradesh?
Ahmedabad,
Which is the longest river in India?
Indian Ocean.
Each of these cocoons holds almost 1,000 feet of silk.
Okay, this video is for you guys to note it down also simultaneously. If there's anything important they're saying, please take running notes. Take note of it, whatever they're saying, like if it's important to you, because it will be useful for your tests. Okay. And after the end of the video, you can, maybe if you have any doubt in between, you can just note doubt down. After the video is over, you can ask me what doubt you have. All right.
And these wiggly little guys are responsible for spinning them. Here in Nam Cao, Vietnam, craftspeople weave silk that's so valuable it can sell for $150 a dress. That's because this is really delicate work. Each cocoon has to be hand-pulled, and the worms themselves are really hard to raise. For one, they're always hungry, and they need the perfect environment, or else they'll die. Today, Vietnam is the second biggest producer of raw silk in the world. Nearly everyone in this village works in the industry, and they're using many of the same techniques passed down for generations. But about a decade ago, the industry in this town almost dried up.
Đến khi tôi về gần 10 năm trước, làng nghề chỉ còn có 3 hộ.
Fake silk from China had flooded the market, and warmer temperatures were threatening the worms' lives. But this area revived itself, thanks to Han. She got farmers to weave more profitable goods and helped them reinvest in new technologies that boosted production.
Chúng tôi đã trao quyền cho bà con.
We head to Vietnam to see how one village saved its big business of silk. Silkvillages.Vietnam. And they produce silk in a tedious 30-step process. It all starts in fields like this one. There aren't any worms out here, this is just their food, and they need this much of it.
Tạm chỉ ăn rau chứ không ăn cái lá nào khác.
These leaves contain vitamins, amino acids, and enough moisture that the worms never need to drink water. Farmers bring loads of harvested leaves to the silkworm houses.
Phòng này để nuôi tầm. Đúng rồi, cái mùi tầm với mùi của tầm. Nhất là khi mà nó chuẩn bị nó còn chín, nó còn hơi, nó còn có khi nó còn hơi.
Han Van Tin is a 35-year veteran farmer. He buys tens of thousands of worms from breeders each year. And he raises them on big bamboo mats on the first floor of his home. When it's feeding time, he lays a net on the worms. Then he heaps 3 pounds of food on top. The healthy worms crawl through the holes and get to munching.
Cái khay tầm nó vậy là những con nào mà nó xấu ấy, thì nó lọt lại ở dưới.
And they eat over 600 pounds of leaves a day.
Ruộng ăn cơm nằm, nuôi tầm ăn cơm đứng, chỗ đó cụ nói vậy mà.
Meaning Tin can't rest because the worms eat every 4 hours.
Nếu mà mình không cho ăn thì sao? Thì tơ nó sẽ kém chất lượng hơn, tơ sẽ không nhiều.
They also need a sterile environment and a perfect temperature of around 22 degrees Celsius.
Con tầm là chủ yếu là sợ nhất là nó bị bệnh gọi là bệnh sốt sắn gai người. Không có tơ trong bụng.
After nearly a month of eating and sleeping, their bodies will plump up.
Tơ nó nhìn có thể tơ vàng nhìn lên và để đấy chúng ta cho lé lên và để ra thành kén.
Tin delivers the worms to another family in Hong Kong. They hang them on racks stuffed with straw. The worms
Vàng nhìn
Can
lên.
you guys hear the video?
Không có tơ trong bụng.
Students?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Ma'am.
Hello?
Hello, ma'am.
I can't hear you guys.
Ma'am.
Can you guys text me if you can hear me? Can you hear me? Ma'am, you can. Okay, I can't hear you guys. Can you mute yourself and unmute yourself and talk?
Hello, ma'am.
No, I can't hear you. Okay, the video and all is audible, right? If anything, if it's not audible or something, just like text me, okay? Where am I? I'll play the video. Okay. I hope it's audible to you. Okay, you can watch.
After nearly a month of eating and sleeping, their bodies will plump up.
Tơ nó nhìn có thể tơ vàng nhìn lên và để đấy chúng ta cho lé lên và để ra thành kén.
Tin delivers the worms to another family in Hong Kong. They hang them on racks stuffed with straw. The worms spit the silk out of this organ, called a spinneret. During this vulnerable time, workers fight off bees that attack the silkworms.
Nó cắn con tầm này.
The worms need sunny weather to produce colorful cocoons. Because if it's rainy and gray outside, the cocoons could lose their color and look damaged. Within 2 days, the cocoons are ready. Workers remove each one by hand. Once they've got a big enough pile, they boil the cocoons in water. That way, they can kill the pupae insides and either eat them or use them in traditional medicine.
Như ở quê mình thì mình cắt ra, sau đó là các bà mang rang lá chanh, chẳng hạn như làm mồi cho các ông uống bia hoặc là ăn cơm vẫn bình thường, không có vấn đề gì.
Then they soak the cocoons for another 5 to 7 hours before pulling the threads.
Nấu vào bùi 3-5 tiếng, tại sao phải nấu bùi vậy? Để cho sợi nó mềm ra.
Families here pass down the delicate technique of hand pulling thread.
Mà coi như là tôi làm đến gia đình
I
nhà tôi
can't
làm
hear
đến
you
tôi
very
là
so in
đời thứ
case
4.
if there's anything,
Con
just
gái
text me
tôi
on
là đời
WhatsApp.
thứ 5 bây giờ vẫn tiếp tục.
Pham Thi Buong has worked in silk for nearly 60 years. She'll unravel about 70 grams of thread a day.
Kéo như này nhá, xong cứ kéo như này là ngày chỉ được
Trong nước và có những cái đôi bàn tay mà nó chai, nó sạm và cũng như là nó dợt hết đi. Nhưng mà sau trong tình yêu của các nghệ nhân vẫn đang còn rất là nhiều.
This machine reels the silk. Workers then hang the threads to dry.
ai mà bà đánh mà không chuẩn mắt lên nó đứt thì là người dệt cũng vất vả mà nó lặn xuống những cái cục.
Next, the threads head to the cooperative to be woven.
Luôn là đây là những sợi tơ chất lượng 5A xuất khẩu đi châu Âu.
And finally, the silk gets dunked 100 times in all natural dyes. They use gak fruit for red, almond leaves or turmeric for yellow, tallow leaves for black, and indigofera for, well, indigo. It's the same technique they've used for generations. Silk weaving dates back 4,000 years in Vietnam, all the way to the Bronze Age. For millennia, it was the fabric of choice for nobility. And in its heyday in the 16th to 18th century, traders came from all over the world to buy Vietnam's silk. Beginning in the 2000s, Vietnam's temperatures heated up, and storms came more frequently.
Cái con tằm này thì là nó không có ưa nhiệt độ ẩm cao.
There was also an influx of counterfeit silk from China.
Mà mình không thể biết được những người thực sự trong nghề hoặc là mình sử dụng bằng đốt này. Đốt cháy lên thì mình mới biết được thôi.
Real silk will burn slowly and smell like burnt hair, while the fake stuff will burn quickly and smell like plastic. Prices for Vietnam's silk fluctuated, dropping as low as $3 per kilo. With less profit, young people took jobs in textile factories in the cities to earn more.
Những cái mà làng nghề gần như mất đi và gần như ngày đấy là mọi người đã gần như là chán lắm rồi.
Han heard the story of the diminishing craft village when she visited in the early 2010s, and she wanted to help. She quit her job in interior design and decided to band families together.
Đó là tôi mới thành lập lại hợp tác xã, là hợp nhau, cùng hợp thay vì chỉ là một người làm thôi, rất là nhỏ bé. Chúng ta phải giữ lấy nghề, bởi vì nghề này nó góp phần cho đất nước, cho quê hương, cho mỗi vùng miền.
She got farmers to purchase air conditioning units so they could raise worms in any weather.
Thành ra là mình phải lắp điều hòa giữ cái nhiệt độ cho nó mát mẻ.
They went from being able to produce 440 to 600 pounds of cocoons per year to over 2,200 pounds. Han introduced benefits for the farmers, like holidays off and helping stabilize the price for silk.
Nó chỉ một giá thôi cho nên là mình yên tâm về được cái giá cả.
Today, over 200 families in Nam Cao are part of her cooperative, pumping out 220 pounds of silk a month. And each family can make up to $12,000 a year, a high wage for this area. They weave a silk that is great at moisture and temperature control, making it breathable in the summer and insulating in the winter. Because of these properties, silk from Han's collective can be used in everything from sofa covers, curtains, and suits to pillowcases and sheets.
Bằng tơ tằm. Thế là thế này nhá, còn có cái vỏ bọc của nó thì là đấy.
Những khách hàng của chúng tôi là những nhà thiết kế thời trang, những nhà nhập khẩu về decor nội thất, rồi các cửa hàng, các siêu thị mẹ và bé.
Han hopes the success of the Nam Cao cooperative will attract young talent back into the industry, so farmers can reinvest in the town.
Sau này là tương lai sau này thì như Hạnh nói là sẽ về làm đây cái khu để ấy đấy, chăn nuôi và làm nhà kính nhà gì đó hay là nhà chăn nuôi tầm lạnh.
Until then, they'll keep spinning away.
Yêu người bao nhiêu thì yêu nghề bấy nhiêu.
Giờ con cô thì đang làm cho ở dệt túi Nam Cao Hạnh rồi, còn giờ cô còn mong là đến làm cho các cháu chắc như cô nữa.
Tôi là vẫn cứ phát triển, càng mong càng phải phát triển hơn nữa chứ không phải là bỏ.
Meet India's first and only smart grid mattress. इसकी patented technology में है 2,500 air channels that keep you cool all night long. What's more, ये दे softness that relaxes your pressure points and firmness that supports your back. Oh, nice. Memory foam में बकवास. Sleep Company mattress is Log on to the sleepcompany.in. Get your 100 nights trial now.
Seven up.
I hope the video is clear to all of you all. I'm still not able to hear you all. I think I have an issue with my iPad. Anyways, that's it for today's class. If there's any doubt, please text me on WhatsApp. Okay? Okay, I can't hear you all. Okay, any doubt, just text me on WhatsApp and in my private chat, and I'll upload the notes. We're done with this lesson. I'll upload the notes in the resources side. You can prepare for Sunday's test with the notes, and we'll see you next class. Okay, bye all of you all. Bye bye.